Welcome back. Welcome if you're new to the channel. My name is Nat, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the actual evidence about the transition that's taking place right now in our world, from the three-dimensional world that we know to the fifth dimension, where the possibilities for us as a species are endless. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what the shift is, how we know about it, and you're going to be able to tell where you stand in this evolutionary process. Right now, on this planet, there's a major shift happening. And this shift is the collective rise in vibration, what you might have heard referred to as ascension, awakening, transition to the fifth dimension, the event, and so on and so forth. This time period that we're living in is unlike any other period that had preceded it. There are huge shifts happening on the planet right now, both in terms of the Earth's vibration and of human consciousness. How do we know this? Keep watching. The first thing we know this is from the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is a set of spectrum peaks in the Earth's electromagnetic field spectrum. What happens is that at any given moment, about 2,000 thunderstorms roll over Earth, producing some 50 flashes of lightning every second. Some of the waves, if they have just the right wavelength, combine, increasing in strength to create a repeating atmospheric heartbeat known as the Schumann resonance. That's why some people call the Schumann resonance the Earth's heartbeat. So this frequency is a pulsation of 7.83 hertz. This particular frequency is referred to as pure sound by the ancient Indian rishis, and in neuroscience is associated with hypnotic states, suggestibility, and surprise, surprise, meditation. So what scientists found out is that everything from our brainwaves and biorhythms to our states of consciousness are directly correlated to the Earth's frequencies. So the Schumann resonance has been steady at 7.83 hertz until 2014, when it suddenly began to accelerate for the first time ever to somewhere in the 15 to 25 hertz levels. This was considered an anomaly, a huge one actually, until in 2017 it jumped from 7.83 hertz to a whopping 36 plus hertz. It has long been suspected that human consciousness can impact the magnetic field of the Earth and create disturbances in it, and vice versa, particularly during moments of high anxiety or passion or expanded awareness, during battles, for example. With this in mind, the question becomes, will this incredible rise in the Earth's frequency culminate into a general awakening and an opportunity to raise our individual and collective consciousness as a species? An evolutionary jump? Something to keep in mind as we move to our second piece of evidence. Dolores Cannon is very well known by now in spiritual circles. She was a hypnotherapist specializing in past life regression and has collected an immense amount of evidence spanning 50 years. She has 19 books out, if I'm not mistaken, and what she did is she put all the transcripts from her sessions into these books. So Dolores Cannon developed a process called the quantum healing hypnosis technique. QHHT is a powerful process where she basically put people under hypnosis, actually into a somnambulistic state, as she called it, which is deeper than the actual hypnotic state, in order to access that all-knowing part of ourselves she called the higher self or the oversoul. Through her work, she discovered that when we incarnate on Earth, we forget our previous lives and connection to our souls and the source. What QHHT does is it enables people to engage with what she called the subconscious that resides beyond the conscious mind. She found that the subconscious, which is not exactly the same as the term used in psychology, is that greater part of ourselves that is always connected to the source or God and has unlimited knowledge and an unlimited ability to help heal the physical body. People that went under her QHHT were actually cured of various diseases such as cancer. But this is not the point here. This is not a regular past life regression. What Dolores Cannon started noticing from her interviews of hundreds and hundreds of people across the globe who did not know each other, while she was conversing with the intelligence that was coming through in the sessions, is that a lot of them were reporting that they chose to be here at this specific time of the planetary evolution because of the massive collective awakening happening. We are now in the 7.5 billions. So in her book, The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth, she gives the transcripts of these conversations that show why all these people chose to be here at this moment in time in order to volunteer to help with this shift in consciousness that's happening. So all these people, or rather their oversoul, were giving information about the event that was going to happen, and also other metaphysical concepts and knowledge that humanity is now supposed to learn. We're ready for this. So the oversoul was telling her that that is why there are so many people here on the planet right now, because of what's going to happen. And souls want to experience this major shift. So they're rushing to be reincarnated here right now because they're excited and they don't want to miss it. That's one of the reasons. The other is these volunteer souls are popping into human bodies in order to assist in increasing the Earth's and the collective vibration in order for this transition to happen. They're basically helping out. So what exactly is this shift? What does the transition talked about by so many people look like? What the souls that came through in Dolores Cannon's sessions reported, and there were thousands of people who reported this, people who didn't know each other, is that we will ascend to the higher dimension by raising our consciousness, the vibration, and the frequency of our bodies. What's going to happen is basically the body will become lighter until it eventually dissolves into light. And you will live in a body made of pure light or energy. This might be a tad too much to wrap our heads around from our human perspective, but Dolores Cannon wasn't the first who talked about this. There are actually references to this in ancient Indian texts. So basically, as the earth that's considered a living being raises her frequency and evolves and is preparing to enter a new incarnation where she will be existing in another dimension, we are raising our frequency as well. We're doing this together. Our vibration is increasing so that we can shift from the third dimension where reality is heavy, it's solid, it changes very slowly. There is negative energy and where people live in fear and they get caught up in the wheel of karma in a negative cycle of being affected by what's being fed to them externally by the media, the news, and other low vibrational frequencies. When we shift to the fifth dimension, reality becomes much less solid. Manifestation is instant. Duality starts to fade. We are able to function outside prescribed patterns and outside the misery of constantly reacting to an external situation that's beyond our control, that we think is beyond our control. So who gets to go to the fifth dimension and who stays behind? First of all, contrary to previous perceptions of what was going to happen, none of us is going anywhere. It's just that some people are already experiencing the fifth dimensional shift. And those are people that are awakening. We're waking up from the dream of the world. What are we waking up from? Simply put, the matrix. The old construct of being caught in an endless cycle of stimulus reaction that kept us imprisoned in a world that was beyond our control, where we were constantly angry and felt disconnected from our true self, our intuition, our guidance, the inner knowing that we are immortal spiritual beings living a temporary human existence. So when we do wake up, which for some of us is spontaneous, I actually had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening on a plane of all places in 2018. I got on that plane one person and came off that plane a different person. I'm going to talk about my awakening in another video. It's a story in itself. So when we do wake up, we start experiencing life in a different way. We start remembering that our soul made a contract before it came into this world. We start experiencing moments of tremendous synchronicity. We start moving beyond duality, and we stop reacting to external circumstance in predictable ways. We begin choosing our reality, manipulating it, playing with it, overcoming behavior patterns that have enslaved us for most of our lives. Basically seeing the codes that the universe uses to create different realities. We start seeing that we're creating those codes. We start receiving messages from our guides, from a higher intelligence. We start opening up to what some people perceive as metaphysical aspects and actually developing a knowing about them. What basically happens is that the veil of forgetfulness, which we all go through before we come here, which makes us forget that we are actually an immortal consciousness temporarily inhabiting a human body, starts to lift, right? And we start remembering. Maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you've taken a few steps on this path yourself. Maybe you're not there yet, but somehow you just clicked on this video. And through this beautiful synchronicity that manifested itself in your world, you ended up here. In this case, know that you cannot perceive something of which you're not the vibration of. And what I mean is that although you may not know it right now, some parts of you are beginning to awaken to this new reality. Something uncannily resonates with you in my words. What's happening is you're downloading codes. You are receiving information from all the quickening that's happening in the universe, from the photonic light that's really putting on a show in the universe right now and helping us meet our full potential, activating dormant strands of our DNA and bringing us closer to fully experiencing the full glory of the fifth dimension. So, are those of us who are awakening going somewhere else? Are the others being left behind? Will there be a split and eventually two Earths hosting the 5D and the 3D? I don't really think so. Everything is unfolding right here. And the more we embrace it, the more people who are still not quite there will benefit from us holding the vibration high and helping them ascend too. I mean, we will see. So much is happening, and at this point, nobody can predict how the dominant timelines are going to influence our collective reality. If you're wondering how you can start embodying more of these ideas and perceiving more of the fifth dimension, I have a video on raising your vibration. I recommend you take inspiration from some of the ideas I present there. I also recommend that you meditate. I have some meditations on this channel that will help you get out of the matrix mind. It will help you experience other states of being. It will begin helping you awaken more and more. I'm going to stop here with the hope that you both enjoyed this video and found it beneficial. Don't forget to hit like if you liked it, subscribe, hit the bell in order to get notified. As always, I'm sending you love. May all of you be happy. May all of you be peaceful. May all of you be liberated.